Okay, so I tried to come up with a way where the stand isn't on camera, and this is the best I could come up with. It's really zoomed in, so sorry if the quality is kind of ass, but yeah, so I'm deciding right now if I should basically buy the Moleskine sketchbook or not. And this is the most recent and only Moleskine sketchbook that I've ever used. And I just want to go through an old sketchbook as well as, you know, go over whether I think this is worth it. If as you can see, I really used this sketchbook. So just going over this after a while, giving you guys my thoughts and showing some of my old art. So before we get started, I'd like to show you guys some of the art that I do now. So this is some of the art that I do now. It's a lot of work in color. It's a lot of colored pencil work. It's a lot of, specifically I use Prismacolors. They're the only colored pencil I own. And I like working in a slightly bigger size now, but I've seen this sketchbook many times as I've been working in it. And obviously I have a lot to say about the A4 sized art creation sketchbook, but I will discuss that in another video because I'm actually done with the sketchbook as of this point. So I'll explain my thoughts and my review on this in another video. But for now, this smaller Moleskine sketchbook shall be what I'm focused on. So I've shown you some of my current art. Let's look at some of my old art. Okay, so this is my old sketchbook. It's my most recent one to the one that I'm working on right now. So this is what started everything for me. Like, this is what started my YouTube, my sharing my art with other people and all of that stuff. And I just remember this was the first sketchbook that I really carried around with me everywhere. It was just such a portable size. It was easy to take with me everywhere, and something about the quality of the cover, I knew that I could like get this book beat up without it really losing its structure. So let's just open her up. So first page, like always, is a bunch of stickers. I started this on October 22nd of 2023. Oh god, time moves by so quickly. And I finished this on January 11th, 2024. So 2 months and 18 days to complete. So for all of these pages, not bad at all. So let's go through them. So this was my first page. It was a drawing of Zoro from the live action of One Piece. I have always liked Zoro, but I like drawing realism, so I could never really imagine what anime characters look like in real life, but I thought this was a really good casting. And I honestly had a major crush on him, so drawing things that you find attractive is always a good time. But yeah, I remember drawing a lot of graphite drawings like this. Underneath this, we just have some grid paper. So how I typically draw is I'll put a piece of grid paper underneath the paper that I'm working on, and then a light box underneath that, and I basically use that as my guidelines, like my grid, to draw something if I'm drawing something realistic and I want all the proportions right. So that's usually what I draw to get this base outline that you see over here and stuff. Very generic. I don't really do the details, but I hate drawing the grids. So here is another fun page. Any page that I had a lot of fun drawing, I usually mark with something. In this case, it was this. So this was really nice. This was a quick sketch of a dog from an interesting angle. I was also just getting into markers. I remember I received my markers. I was trying a lot of different things at this time. So I remember when I got these markers, I really wanted to make my sketchbook really sketchbook-like by adding a bunch of things in. So I added in these strawberries that I did with alcohol markers. They kind of look like stickers, and you know, that was really satisfying to do. These were my eyes fresh out of a shower. I always like how glassy your eyes look right after a shower. As you can see, my eyebrow drawing game was so weak back then. I think I could draw eyes because everyone kind of starts off drawing eyes, but the eyebrows could really use some work. I remember this page. So here's another like sketchbooky sketchbook page. I drew in this parrot in my old sketchbook, and then I really liked the way it turned out, so I stuck it in here. And here's just a cat, very cool, drinking bubble tea. I just started getting into colored pencil animals at this point. At the end of my old sketchbook, the one previous to this, I was thinking about moving into color. I just love the way when you flip the pages around compared to just pure graphite, you see like a splash of color when it comes to the colored pieces. Here is some more One Piece fan art. I am a huge fan of One Piece. I've been a fan of One Piece since I was really young, and it's a show that's really near and dear to my heart. Just watching them in the anime go in the open waters in between the fighter episodes where they're actually in like battles and stuff, but they're kind of in the calm in the water, and it's like filler episodes or just like crew bonding. Something about that just gets to me. It makes me feel so warm and fuzzy. And I think the casting for Luffy was also really well done. Skipped on the cat a little bit, but I remember really liking this drawing when I did it. I remember also taking this drawing with me everywhere. I took this drawing with me to my friend's computer science class, and I remember everybody was like, "Is that Luffy from One Piece, the live action?" And I was like, "Damn, it's a popular show. That's wonderful." Looking back on your old art gives you so much appreciation for your art, because I know I can do better now, but that's not the point, because this isn't my current skill level. So it's just how much time and energy I put into this back then. Like, this drawing is the size of my hand, but I got quite a bit of details in. So love that. I used to do a lot of pages like this where I just was making lists about like art supplies I wanted to buy, a management and midterm that was coming up, random stickers. This I got from my friend. Most of the One Piece stickers I got from friends, so they're more meaningful to me. This was the first time I bought food for my parents. We went out to eat, and little things like that. I kind of journaled a lot in my sketchbooks previously. I don't do that as much anymore. I like having two separate books, for one for journaling, one for drawing, but I think that's because I started sharing my art a lot more. So yeah, this receipt I remember was so meaningful to me because I sold one of the art pieces I was working on and used some of that money to buy art supplies, and it was the first time I felt like an artiste, you know? Another sticker page full of cats and some anime stickers. I don't like this page, so I'm gonna just skip over it. Again, I was just getting into the markers. I remember doing this pomegranate spread with my friend. I drew it, and then I gave her some tips on how she could help out. Excuse me. So this drawing is of another friend, my friend Anaya, and her bird Pingu. It's so funny to look back on this because at the time, this drawing was something I was proud of. I thought I got the proportions all correct, so it was, you know, a job well done. I taped it down, but I used grid paper underneath, and that's when I was really figuring out the whole grid paper technique and stuff. So I thought that was like really well done, but I wasn't satisfied. So I drew it again. Like this. And this was just like a preliminary sketch. And then I decided to go in with color. And I think I actually did a decent job on this. So I love the way the lips turned out, and this drawing just means a lot to me. One, because it's my friend and I like drawing people I care about, but it's also something that to me shows a lot of improvement, which is always something fascinating and fantastic about art. So more One Piece fan art. This again, I used the grid. So here's me drawing Nami without a grid, just going straight in with markers. And here's me drawing Nami with the grid. As you can see, this one looks a lot more realistic and like a real person. But the problem with drawing with a grid for me is I like the base sketch so much, like this loose sketchy style, that I don't want to proceed. So I typically end up leaving it as just a simple sketch, which is a little bit of a shame because everything looks better the more time you spent on it. Hence why my colored pencil drawings nowadays I have such a soft spot for, because each one took at least a couple hours. So, you know, it is what it is. This guy, I started shading in. I was gonna do a really good job shading in the body because I don't usually focus on the body, but yeah, that's about as much energy as I had, I guess. Looking back at this sketchbook, it's so fascinating how much energy I put into each page, and not the drawing itself, like the swatching afterwards, the type of tape I used, everything to just aestheticize the book, like make it look as sketchbooky as possible. I don't really do that as much anymore, so it's fascinating. And I tried a lot of new things. Like markers was new to me, colored pencil was new to me, everything except plain pencil was new to me, and I really tried to learn. I love this page. I think the juxtaposition, Jesus, I really taped down like the book itself, but it's okay. This page, these two pages, I like the way they juxtapose with each other. This one being all black and white and this one being pastel. I think they look nice beside each other, and I think the references that I chose have a totally different look. Like this guy, even though he's in pastel, his facial features give him a more tough kind of look, and this guy with his glasses and the colored dark academia look, like he's got a more prim and proper vibe, even though he's in black and white and he's in pastel. Something about it, like I think it's a job well done. Here's me trying to draw young people. What's under just swatches and stuff, because I don't usually draw young people. I did mess up on the lights and the darks, but it's okay. I was learning. Oh, I love this page. This is more experimentation with colored pencil. This was done using Prismacolor. This was done using markers, not Copics, not even like Prismacolors, Pro markers, like really random. I think they're not even Ohuhus. They're really random cheap markers that I got off of Temu, I think. I like them. They work well, so... This parrot is so shiny. I had the most energy for like this section, so that turned out the best. But looking back, this isn't very good either. So it's just fascinating how proud I used to be. The thing with me and my old art is I can be really proud of my old self, but it's hard for me to be proud of my current self, because I understand my current self is evolving and improving constantly, but my old self, it's like a moment set in stone, set in time, so I can always go back to that and be proud of myself. So I really like looking through old sketchbooks, especially once I've like forgotten about my old sketchbook. This is my like very uncreative, but my live action remake of Brooke. It's just a skull, with a flower going through his skull. Here is a really messy page, some more experimentation with marker, and some math notes from, I remember my friend was trying to explain something, math, to me, and I wasn't understanding. Even looking back at this right now, like, I still don't understand. So, I mean, I appreciate him trying to help me understand. Anyways, this I drew because my friend really liked this model, and yeah, I was gonna finish him in ink or something. I like the way this ink specifically like globs. It's really fun to touch, but didn't get around to it. This model is another model that I started in this book. This was the first version of him. Ruined it, like absolutely destroyed his facial features. This looks nothing like him. It looks nothing like I intended it to look. It's overall not satisfying. And then I just tried again with the sketch because I figured the sketch was not something I could ruin. And then I tried again in my new sketchbook. So I wanted to get the sketch right yet again. And you know what? I did an okay job. Like, the proportions are okay. Like, if you look at the sketch, like, he definitely looks more like a real person and less caricature-like. But this one, I'm actually low-key, I'm proud of it. It's my most recent pencil crayon drawing, and I think I did a really good job. I think it's definitely an improvement compared to some of my older works, and that's all I can ask for, you know? So, is it the best I can ever do? No. Is it something I'm proud of though? Yeah, pretty proud of myself. I think I did a pretty good job, and once again, I love drawing things that I'm attracted to. I think it gives me the patience to really spend my time and do a really good job. And as you can see, I didn't always know what I was doing. Like, this was just a couple months ago. Like, the difference between this drawing and the one I just showed you is probably around less than 6 months. But the skill range is dramatic because I was drawing every day. Here's more pastel. I tried to draw these two birds. I was just testing out these Brute Ferner watercolor pencils that I got. They kind of suck. Like, they're not as pigmented as the Prismacolors, and I knew that, but I don't know. I put them side by side, and it was really overwhelming how much better the Prismacolors were. So, this is a note from my nurse. This is, I love Jujutsu Kaisen in like chibi form. There's like, because there's such balls of aggression, and that's what I imagine a chibi is. It just suits it so well. This is a pen sketch that I did. I drew this in my old sketchbook. I didn't want to rip it out, so I took a print of that and then cut out the printed one and stuck that in here. So I know this looks like a print, and it is, but I drew this in pen, so I was trying to make it look like a print. I used to do stuff like this a lot. I don't do stuff like that anymore, but I think I'm pretty good at it. I mean, that was what I considered my art to be. That was my art style for a long time. Here was the live action Usopp. I had a hard time drawing him because I don't know, like, I like his facial features. I think it was a good cast, but it was hard to do realism because I drew him really small, so I decided to just leave it. As soon as I could somewhat tell who I was trying to draw, I was like, close enough. And the live action Sanji, I drew in pastel to kind of just make it easier for myself. Bless me, sorry. Stuck on One Piece stickers while watching the live action. Spoke about it into one of my ideas. What? I don't know what this means, but I did a lot of One Piece fan art and Jujutsu Kaisen, but not really fan art, just stickers. In this book, I love One Piece. I love it. I love it. Here is my version of the live action Zoro. That's what I would have made him. I would have made him Asian and I would have given him green hair because it's just not moss head without the moss on his head. I get why they didn't, but you know. Here is a drawing of me and my friend. I made myself look really pale, which I'm not. She's like this color, but I couldn't really darken myself with. Actually, I made her too pale too. I made both of us look really pale and like really old. Like I feel like we'll look like this when we're 30, 40 really, but that's kind of cute. That's really cute. So that's one way to look at it. I stuck this leaf in a long time ago, like when I first started this sketchbook, and then I figured one of these days I'll just run into it and be like, oh, I'm like halfway into the sketchbook, and it happened in like 2 months. So here's a little quick elephant that I sketched. This was one of those art block days where nothing was, ooh, let's not look at that. That's a timeline that I made for my friend because my drama in my life was too difficult, so made a timeline. I don't know why I covered this up, but there's now nothing on this page. Oh, I drew him again too. So this is Gianu Mahadevan. I drew him again, just a quick sketch, nothing too major, but before, after. I'm a huge fan of redrawing the same thing because there's no easier way to tell how much you've improved and how much you can now do. Yeah, it's just really satisfying because you make it with your own hands, right? So here's me trying to do some more animal sketches in that ink texture. And I used to find it really satisfying, but I was just noticing my style was evolving and it wasn't giving me the same satisfaction that it used to. So I decided to try colored pencil. And this was the first ever colored pencil realistic drawing that I ever did. And honest to God, I loved it. I thought I was gonna suck, and it's always so rewarding. Like, look at the fur. This camera really doesn't focus, and that's why I haven't been like bringing anything up because there's no point really, but I really wanted to show this because the fur just looks so lifelike. Like, let me see if I can turn the brightness up. Right now it's like I have new eyes, and I'm not judging it so harshly. And I'm actually in disbelief. Like, it looks like it's coming out of the page. Like, it looks real. For this size, that's hard to do. I was gonna do it again with the cat, but didn't get around to it. And here I tried something colorful. So at this point, you can see a drastic improvement in my art skills. And that was because not only was I drawing every day in this book until this point, but I was getting a whole new surge of motivation because I was trying new materials and a new way of doing things with Prismacolors and using my grid sketching technique that I had just taught myself and drawing animals instead of people like I usually do, and all these little things added up together. I was having a really good time with my art, so you know, that was really fun. I drew this again too, but just a really quick sketch in my new sketchbook, or my current one. More stickers. Here's a quick drawing of my little cousin and my mom, some art goals. Oh, I think this is where my frog phase really started because I drew these two and then I drew this guy, and this was around the time I was thinking of starting a new sketchbook. And then I drew this guy in my new sketchbook. And it's the same as this, except instead of marker, I used colored pencil. This was more of the same friend trying to teach me math. I'm so bad at math. It's actually like, it's almost funny if I didn't need it to survive. So then it's just sad. Here is a tiger. I have nothing to say. It was hard to draw. Here's a giraffe that I was gonna do in ballpoint pen, but it was really difficult, so I gave up. People are falling in love to our song. Oh, this was another charcoal drawing. I used to really like my little charcoal drawings. I was a huge fan of this. I think I improved from this. You can just see the detail is better. And I'm pretty sure that's the last thing. Oh, it's not. It's one of the last things that I really drew in this sketchbook. Everything else is kind of like filler. And I was just trying to fill up the pages so I can call it a day. Ended this on a good note. This guy just cheesing his... This was really hard to draw. Like, I remember his emotions. Like, I kept making him look mad because it's really hard to draw teeth and the smile. Like, every line shade transmutes into an emotion. And if you make it look neutral to downturned, he looks angry really quickly. Whereas if you make it upturned, he looks really happy. Like, it was difficult. It was difficult. But I think I got the angles right. I wanted to shade this in and really complete it, but I figured I'd come back to it. And at this point, I don't think I'm gonna come back to it. But yeah, in 2 months and 18 days, I finished this 88-page sketchbook. Some more stickers, cute little chopper sticker at the back, and yeah, that's my Moleskine sketchbook. I wanted to go over it and just kind of give myself really, I wanted to look at this book again with fresh eyes and kind of share it at the same time. So I made this little book very fat, and I'm debating if I should get a book in this size again since I'm done with my current sketchbook, and I think I'm going to. I think that was all the proof that I needed that I really enjoyed this book, so I think I'm going to do that. As for my review, you'll see it in subtitles.